Dagobah, 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 Tatooine, Tatooine, Tatooine. I got the plug on Oaxaca. Lando is friends with Chewbacca. Brah, brah. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the powerful Nerdcast. I'm Corey, and joined with me, as always, is...
Christian! Hello, Internet.
That is right. Guys, we have a really cool show for you guys. We are sitting on top of some really big information for Dragon Ball fans. Apparently, there is a brand new Dragon Ball anime series coming out. I know, it's crazy, right? I thought
we're just getting over Super.
Exactly. It's only been, I think, maybe 2 months since Super actually came to a conclusion.
We should actually paint the picture of where Dragon Ball is at right now. So currently, Dragon Ball Super ended, and everyone was kind of like, what's going on? They just introduced all these new universes, all these new characters. They used them in essentially one arc, and now the show is ending. And a lot of people that weren't in the know were sort of like, wait, Dragon Ball's over? And they introduced all these things, like maybe they're going to do movies or something, and they'd even flirted with the idea of the old universes that were originally reversed or erased also coming back, you know, because when 18 said, not 18, is it 17? No, it's 18. When 18 wished for all the universes, 17, when he wished for all the universes to be restored, that someone implied that they may even do the last 2 or 3. I forget how many the other ones were. I'm not Wikipedia, damn it, people. But the point is the other ones were also coming back. So, but we, as in the know, sort of knew that they were going to do some more Dragon Ball stuff, even though they hadn't announced it. But as of today, they have announced it. And it is a pretty much like they said, fuck setting up for arcs and tournaments. We're just going to say, here are a whole bunch of fights with all your favorite characters from everything. Right? How would you say it, Corey?
That's basically what they're going for, albeit even though this is probably not going to be a direct continuation of Dragon Ball Super. This is taking elements from a Japanese video game series, which is known as Dragon Ball Heroes. And if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball Heroes, it's this card game in Japan where you collect these cards, and some of them are holofoil, a la Pokemon, and you're able to insert them into these arcade machines where you get to have these sort of pseudo-RPG-styled battles. But what's really unique about Dragon Ball Heroes is that it basically takes characters from every single portion of the Dragon Ball universe, everything from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Super, the movies, and even some brand new original characters, and even a lot of the characters who were introduced in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse series. And basically, it's just a lot of big what-if scenarios. So you're going to see a lot of things like, what would happen if Goku Blue fought against Super Saiyan 4 Goku? You're able to see same characters actually battling one another. But apparently, this brand new series, which goes by the name of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, is going to be adapting an arc from this game series, which is known as the Prison Planet Saga, which basically is just an excuse to see, like I said, all of our favorite characters fighting one another and a lot of weird what-if scenarios. Now, we are jumping the gun just a little bit on this brand new series. It has not been officially announced that this is going to be a full-blown, long-running show. Currently, what we do know about Super Dragon Ball Heroes is that it's basically a PR video which is being created in conjunction with this brand new game. But it is said that there's going to be a mashup of some of the episodes that are going to be put into this PR material. They're going to show it off this summer. But we're still not sure if this is going to be a full-blown series or not.
So you think it could just be an hour-long movie?
It could be a movie, it could be an OVA, it could be a couple-episode OVA. This could be simply a one single-season, 25-episode series, which will seem to have no bearing on any other parts of the Dragon Ball story. Just like I said, think of it as an excuse to see your favorite characters come together. This is kind of like the Super Smash Brothers of Dragon Ball in a way.
Yeah, it seems interesting. Also, I'm just excited that on the poster, you see like Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku. That's like the title of the poster is like that battle. And then, you know, you get some other people. They show they've got Cooler from the movies. They got this guy with the glasses. I don't know who he is.
He's a character who's introduced recently in Xenoverse.
Okay, in the games.
He goes by the name of Fu, and he's a character that, to be perfectly honest with you, I just don't care for. We actually have a few things that are brought up here. Fu is a character who made his debut in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. He was originally created for a game series called Dragon Ball Online, and that's where he was given his very first name, and he was basically considered the successor to the character of Deborah. You remember the Demon King from the Majin Buu arc who could spit on people and turn them into stone?
Yeah.
Basically, this was going to be the next big Demon King, and he was going to be on the throne as king of the Demon Realm.
Is the Demon King the same thing as Hell? Is the Demon Demon Realm the same thing as Hell, or is that
That's
its own
the thing.
thing?
The Demon Realm is an entirely different concept than Hell itself.
Okay,
it's literally just a place where demons live, and honestly, I think a very untapped source of story potential for the series, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, that makes sense.
But Fu is a character who has been introduced in Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Online. He plays a really big role in the Dragon Ball Heroes game series, and his main shtick, a lot like the other Xenoverse characters and even Future Trunks, is that he travels through space and time a lot, and he's going to be one of the main antagonists of this brand new arc, which again is known as the Prison Planet arc. And if you're looking at this image right here, you see all these like clusters of planets right here?
Yeah.
Basically, he has brought all of these planets together and transformed it into one massive super prison, where he's taken a lot of the biggest characters from the Dragon Ball series and villains and locked them up there, which seems like, again, just sort of an excuse to see these characters knock the shit out of each other.
I'll tell you what, if One Piece has taught me anything, prison arcs are cool.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
still
cool with
think Impel Down is one of my favorite arcs from One Piece.
it changes the storytelling a lot. There's not some giant goal. The giant goal is to get off the island.
Yeah.
You know, the giant goal isn't conquer or something or beat one person. It's like get away from the island.
But also
you know?
just it introduces some of the biggest characters from that arc. I mean, Jinbei is officially introduced during that arc.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I loved the villain. I know we're getting off track here, but
Yes,
I loved the villain from that arc, Magellan, the Poison Man.
Yeah.
I thought he was incredibly powerful too. Like Luffy technically did not beat him.
No.
They had to run away from that guy.
They ran away from him.
But it is implied, of course, that he's still not exactly that high up on the food chain, although with his abilities, I imagine he would be. But getting back on track here, again, we don't know if this is going to be like a full-blown series or not. It's supposed to make some sort of big premiere in July when they have that big PR stunt where they're going to show this off, and then maybe we'll get something from it. What I will say is I think this is at least going to, you know, satiate people's needs for something Dragon Ball anime related until we get the Dragon Ball Super movie, which is supposed to also come out at the end of this year. I didn't expect to see anything like this anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I did. Not that I actually knew anything that you didn't know. It's that I knew that if they were going to keep this whole Dragon Ball train going, they had to keep putting out content quickly. You know, they have to. Because people aren't going to, even though it's Dragon Ball Z, actually, maybe I'm wrong now that I'm saying this. Dragon Ball Z, people would love it no matter what. If it came out 5 years from now, or if it came out 2 years from now, or if it came out 6 months from now. But I think, what did we hear? What's the studio that makes Dragon Ball again?
Toei Animation.
Toei Animation has hired on like 50 people to just strictly work on Dragon Ball from now on. So
it makes sense that they'd be able to pump something out
really fast.
Yeah, like this. And we all know that while anime is really cool, it's more of a stylized thing. They can pump out episodes pretty quick. And Dragon Ball is not a super detailed type of series.
No,
so it makes sense that they would be able to.
Or anything. You know,
Yeah,
it's just some dude shooting beams.
Pretty much. But again, this is going to be sort of like a dream series for like your favorite characters coming in. In particular, so far for what we have confirmed, we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT, which I've had my feelings about GT for a long time. They haven't changed. I still don't particularly care for it. I do think Super Saiyan 4 has a cool design. I just wish they called it something else altogether because, as I've said in the past, Super Saiyan 4 makes no sense going from Super Saiyan 3, going back to black hair and having red fur. They should have called this
like Primal Super Saiyan.
Like Primal Super Saiyan mode, I think would have been a much more appropriate name for something like this, especially because Goku gets his tail back. You know, he has the fur and everything. He's definitely a more primal version.
Also, his attitude and personality is much more serious. He's not Goku when he turns Super Saiyan 4.
No.
He gets very serious. Like, when he goes Super Saiyan Blue, he's essentially just Goku really powerful.
Yeah.
But Super Saiyan 4 had a drastic personality change as well. And they don't know. No one ever talks about that. But, like, it wasn't really Goku as much anymore. You know, it wasn't Goofy or talking about
And it was
Goofy.
even weirder because in that point in the story in GT, Goku was a kid. But when he became Super Saiyan 4, he somehow transformed into an adult?
I don't think his body could handle Super... I don't know. No one cares.
See, this is just one of the many reasons why GT is messed up. But the
GT
form
sucks.
itself does look cool. And getting to see a scenario where, you know, Goku has to fight against himself while not all that new is kind of interesting. Especially because these are... People have been having that debate. You know, is GT canon? How strong is 4 compared to these brand new God abilities? And from what I've seen from Super Saiyan Blue and even beyond to Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan 4 shouldn't be able to even stand a chance.
Or is it super powerful and we never had some reason to compare it against something? Well, because, they had to fight Omega Shenron, which was like a dragon, like one of the dragons that came from the Dragon Balls or something. I don't really remember that arc and what happened.
The Shadow Dragon arc?
The Shadow Dragon. But the Earth's Dragon Balls are not that powerful in relation to like the Cosmic Dragon Balls or whatever they are. So, yeah, even if something came out of one of those Dragon Balls is nowhere near God level strong. So,
I mean, they'll have you believe that in GT, but the thing is, they don't really display or show anything in GT to show that these characters are that much stronger than they were before. Like some of the feats that they perform, it's just basically just more of what you saw from Z. At least in Super, we got to see Ultra Instinct and see how insanely crazy that is.
I mean, a fucking galaxy came out of Goku's power.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Even and it was recognized by the power of the gods as well. They're like, oh, okay, this is actually kind of serious. Super Saiyan Blue kind of impressed them, but when he went Ultra Instinct, they all stood up and they're like, okay, we need to be careful. People are getting way too strong at this point.
Yeah.
And I wonder even if Ultra Instinct will play any sort of role in this. I believe that Ultra Instinct has been in the Dragon Ball Heroes series, but do not quote me on this. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball, but when it comes to like the video games and some of the spin-off stuff, like I just don't pay attention that much.
Do you think they're going to do what they did in the most recent Dragon Ball Fighter game and put like bracelets on people so everyone's the same strength?
Maybe,
because it's a prison planet.
It is a prison planet.
They can get away with that.
There is that possibility, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't even think they're going to care that much. I think it's just mostly, let's just put these characters in a scenario and make them fight. I mean, the fact that, like, when you look at this poster, you even see, like, Cooler there. And this is Cooler from the very first movie. This isn't even Meta Cooler or anything. And, I mean, Cooler shouldn't even be able to stand in the presence of, like, Super Saiyan Blue.
They shouldn't even be able to stand in Super Saiyan 2.
Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, I really am glad to see Cooler return because I love Frieza. Frieza's my favorite villain, but I think that Cooler in the first film, especially his final transformation, just is one of the coolest looking villains from the series. Love the design of him. So intimidating, large, spiky, and cool, and just so commanding in battle. Like when he fought against Goku in that movie, it's one of my favorite fights from the series. And to see him return with brand new animation and gusto, I really hope they're going to make that a lot of fun. Really, though, like I said, this is sort of like your wish list. Like, are there any other characters from the Dragon Ball lore that maybe you'd want to see in this series?
I'd love to see like future Trunks fight Cooler. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to see.
It's probably going to happen, especially because future Trunks, of course, is going to be instrumental. It is worth noting that this is the future Trunks and future Mai from their brand new timeline. So they are going to be involved in this as well.
Is everyone wearing bracelets, or is that just Trunks is wearing those bracelets?
I think a lot of them are wearing bracelets.
No, it's just Trunks.
No, it's just Trunks.
That's where I got my theory on them being powered down, you know.
Yeah, because you got the image of Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Blue Goku fighting, and that's just the aesthetic design that they actually have. Like Goku has his armbands, and then Super Saiyan 4, because the transformation demands it, for some odd reason, has some inorganic material that appears out of nowhere. Again, just another reason why Super Saiyan 4 makes no sense, but whatever. It's
cool
there.
Design. Cool design.
Cool design makes no sense. Don't really care for it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what this is actually going to be. This is not going to be the next real Dragon Ball series, in my opinion. They're probably saving that for next year after the release of this brand new film. But this is still going to give something for the fans to chew on and get excited about. And, you know, who knows? This could end up being a really fun surprise this summer that we never really expected. I'm going to reserve all judgment until I actually see it, but we'll have to see. For fans who actually do play Dragon Ball Heroes, which is to say pretty much only Japanese people, I'm sure they're very excited, because this is a game that you just cannot play in America. It just does not exist.
Dude, so many Dragon Ball Z games suck.
They do.
A lot of them suck. Like, I think people just play it because they like the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, always say, like, if they could ever make a Dragon Ball Z game like Breath of the Wild, where you got to create your own character a little more. I know Xenoverse is kind of like that, but it's not the same. It's not as good.
No. And I mean, and after Dragon Ball Fighters, like, every other Dragon Ball game sucks, in my opinion.
Even more now, yeah.
Because, I mean, just the fighting is just so clean and fun in that game, and just the style of that game looks great. I remember before that game came out and everybody was sort of speculating about the DLC characters. People were thinking that this brand new purple guy, Fu, was actually going to make it in the game. I was like, oh, don't put Fu in the game. Just do not care about him. Let's get Ultra Instinct up in there. One thing that is kind of cool about Dragon Ball Heroes is whenever you play this game, they do create specific animations for the actual game. Here, take a look at this one right here. This like plays before you actually see the game. And you get to see a lot of the original characters that exist within the story, as well as some of the scenarios that we might actually see in this brand new show. Like Jiren might be involved. Here's Jiren versus Ultra Instinct Goku in a scene created specifically for this game. Does it have as good animation as the actual show? Not really. But still, it's kind of a nice preview. This character you're seeing on screen right now, Christian, with the blue hair, who looks a little bit like Goku. That's just an original character for the show, or for Dragon Ball Heroes.
Is that like your avatar?
Pretty much, yeah. I think I think it's either an avatar or just an original character for the actual game. Here's Goku and Vegeta. There's the prison planet, which looks ridiculous with the giant chains wrapped around all the planets with just like a padlock holding it all together. We have Fu. We have Future Trunks.
Just got to get a giant key. Fix that shit.
Pretty much, yeah. Just a giant nail and file. And here we go again. Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan Blue fighting against one another, because why the hell not? I think we have a scene with Cooler, which is coming up, where he just decides to try and blast both of them, which who knows what sort of role he's going to actually play. But it's just good to actually see him. But this is not actually the anime series. This is just what's used in the game. So this is basically going to be a basis for what we're going to actually see. But it's weird. It's just different. That's one thing you have to remind yourself about this thing that's coming out. It's not a part of the official story. It's just a spin-off of it. But
it's like when Goku went and fought with Luffy and the dude from the food show.
From the Toriko One Piece Dragon Ball special?
Yeah, it's like, just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be.
It's going to be a one-off, if you ask me, most likely. It's going to be a one episode or like a 5 episode.
I don't see this being like a full season. I see this maybe as like a special that's going to go for maybe 4 episodes tops.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be fun. But the good thing about it is, even if it does suck, it's just a spin-off. You can take it for what it is. But again, this is not like an official announcement about it. This is just what we know. This is all brand new stuff, which just came out today. People are currently losing their minds over it, and it's easy to understand why it's Dragon Ball.
After looking at this tweet, it's definitely going to be a couple episodes. They say the first episode will pre-screen, so it obviously is going to be a short season of something, you know?
I just wonder how we're going to be able to digest this show. Like, where are they going to show it? Is it going to stream? Are they going to put it on Crunchyroll? Is it only going to be available in Japan?
I think we're going to be able to Google it, find it somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll be easy to find.
We're going to watch someone's cell phone footage of it. I hope not.
That's what we had to do back in the day with a lot of anime that we didn't have access to. You just had to scour the internet for it. But this is a Dragon Ball project. It's going to be big. It definitely appeals more to a Japanese audience because it is based on the Dragon Ball Heroes game. But as long as it's in anime form, people are going to want to see it. Now, as far as like characters I want to see, Cooler's already in it, so that's awesome. If we got Cooler, let's just go ahead and toss in all the other movie villains. Let's just go nuts. Let's get Lord Slug in there.
Bojack.
Let's even bring Bojack. I think actually Bojack is going to be a part of this film. He's a part of this prison planet
like the
saga.
Warden? He's the warden of the prison?
I don't know. I'm sure he'll have just as boring a personality here that he did in his actual movie. I just don't care for Bojack. But you know what? Throw him in anyway. He can be fodder for the characters to absolutely destroy.
Yep.
Bring in Garlic Jr. and all those other weirdos from the first couple of films. Cooler, obviously. And, they're going to bring Broly in. They kind of have to. It's just necessary at this point. You know what? Go even crazier with it. Now that we have the ability to do this stuff, let's get Broly versus, Kale or Cauliflower, or whatever you want to call her at this point. I think that would be pretty awesome.
That would be really cool, actually.
It's just a big what-if scenario. When we do get more information about the show, though, we will give you guys more info on it. But we would love to hear from you guys what you thought about this big announcement and what type of characters you'd like to see in the brand new Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime project. We'll just get back to it when we get more info. But
absolutely. Aside
from that, we are literally sitting on the eve of the release of Deadpool 2. And we've been talking about this movie for a long time. Reviews are coming in, and they're all pretty glowing. A lot of people are calling it way better than the first movie, funnier, more action-packed, and overall just a better package than the first film.
Here's the funniest thing about this Deadpool thing. I was reading a title of a review, and they're like, the new Deadpool film is very disjointed and jumps around a lot. And I was like, no shit, it's Deadpool. He jumps around a lot, and he's like the embodiment of ADD.
Pretty much. I mean, it is a full-on comic book movie in every sense of the words. So it's not going to... This isn't like a Christopher Nolan-directed superhero film.
I bet the beginning, middle, and end are there, but it's all pretty loosely tied together. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me, at all that this movie is going to jump around a lot. And also, I think it's probably a more polished it's probably the Deadpool movie they wanted to make the first time, but they didn't have the budget.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what this pretty much is.
I'm interested to see where the series is going to go from here, especially with the acquisition by Disney.
Yep.
If they're going to keep this whole R-rated Deadpool thing happening. Ryan Reynolds has even gone on to state he doesn't know if Deadpool 3 is going to happen. You know, this could be the final, you know, magnum opus of everything that is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I really hope it's not because, man, he just absolutely owns this role. And I have to say that the Deadpool 2 marketing campaign has been perfect.
Well, they killed it the first round, so it doesn't surprise me at all that they got Deadpool on Stephen Colbert's,
which I still have not seen yet.
It's quite funny. It's not that funny, but it's quite funny. And because Deadpool, a lot of his comedy is physical, and they couldn't make it physical, you know, in real life on a live TV show. But some of it's quite funny.
Yeah.
And also, I just think that Deadpool is just a good, refreshing take on the superhero genre. So I'm really glad this movie is doing well, or it will do well. I'm pretty sure it will do well. But man, putting this movie out anywhere near Infinity Wars is a hard sell.
It is. It really is.
And
but they've even played with that. Like one of the previews I saw before the trailer actually started, it's like, get ready for the second best movie of the summer. Like even they know how big Infinity War is right now.
Yeah.
But this movie's going to clean up. Deadpool fans are rabid.
Yes.
And they're all going to be coming in droves. The other thing is, though, this also comes out a week before the next big Star Wars movie, too. So it's just sandwiched in between two of Disney's biggest hits for the summer.
They were trying to thread the needle on this. They're like, get it in, but not before. Get it in, but before Han Solo's movie comes out, blah, blah, blah. I still don't feel like they've done much to promote the Han Solo movie.
They have, but the thing is, I mean, this has been 5 months since the last Star Wars movie, and we already have another one coming out. Like, I'm still reeling over The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I really am. And it's like, man, I'm not ready for another Star Wars movie yet, much less one that ultimately is not really going to have much of a bearing on anything. It's just an adventure set in Star Wars in an earlier period of Han Solo's life.
It's when he gets the Millennium Falcon.
I don't care how he got it. We heard it was a throwaway line in Empire Strikes Back. He won it in a game of whatever they called it, Sabat or something against Lando.
Uno.
Now we get to see that game happen. Woo! It's going to be awesome. Lando's going to get up. He's going to rip his shirt off. He's going to start dancing like this is America. It's going to... Sorry.
Oaxaca.
Oh, God. But the reason we brought up Deadpool really is because one of the biggest things about superhero movies is that they have these big post-credit scenes which are meant to tease either a future film or just to do something kind of funny. And the Deadpool post-credit scenes have always been great. I loved the first one where they did the whole riff on Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that was a post-credit scene.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And they even teased the fact that, you might even see Cable in the next movie. And guess what? It's actually happening. But there are going to be some post-credit scenes in the new Deadpool film. However, one of them was pulled for being simply way too outrageous. And let me just go into this a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the non-released post-credit scene.
Okay, so we get this information from IO9, and they were speaking to Uproxx, and the Deadpool screenwriter Rhett Reese revealed that originally they had this scene which did not make the cut. The scene involved something that you actually do see in the trailers. You know the shot where they're doing the interview portions with all those heroes that are going to be joining the X-Force. The first one was actually going to involve Chris Evans, otherwise known as the actor for Captain America, but not playing Captain America, but playing Johnny Storm, the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four films. Now, this was just a concept. It never actually made it into the film. However, there was one thing they did film that they showed to test audiences, and they did not like it. So, this post-credit scene involved Deadpool going back in time to kill baby Hitler.
Okay.
So, this is what they said. So this is what the actual scene was. They said, we shot it and we put it in front of the audience, Reese explained. He's got the crib and he's standing in the Germany nursery and he's leaning over the crib to do it. And then there was this kind of ooh from the audience. And we thought, we don't want to leave the crowd on an ooh. So it ended up coming out. And apparently there's details of the scene where Deadpool is literally throttling a baby Hitler, and there's another scene like right before he does it, he takes a marker and draws the little Hitler mustache on the baby. And as crazy and as insane that was, the test audience did not like it, and they thought that it was way too dark. So they decided to cut that from the film. But man, can you imagine how ridiculous that would have actually been to see that?
You can't be fucking up babies.
No.
People don't like that.
Now, the fact that we do have a post-credit scene that involves time travel, you know we're going to see some funny time travel stuff in this. I don't know if we're going to see Back to the Future jokes or if we're going to see references to probably the other X-Men films, which I think would be really cool. I mean, we have Cable, who's a time-traveling character, so we're going to see some really funny stuff at the end of this movie. But, man, I'm really pumped for it. Cannot wait.
I think it's going to be a good movie, and it's exactly what a summer blockbuster should be. It's not trying to revolutionize filmmaking. It's just trying to get out there and make a funny, enjoyable 2-hour film, or maybe hour and a half, whatever it is. Yeah. And so I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a good one. And like everyone says, it's a more refined, I almost don't like using that word,
especially for Deadpool.
Yeah, but it's a better Deadpool movie than the last one. And that's all I need to know, that it's going to be the same but better. That's all you need to tell me, and I'm going to go see it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
I'm going to be honest, and I'm not seeing a lot of movies this summer because there's too many.
I mean, what's your priority for the movie summer?
Infinity War, which I saw.
Okay.
And then Deadpool 2. And that's all I really care about.
No Jurassic World?
Damn it, I'll probably see that.
I mean, have you seen this little featurette they just released about the practical effects?
I saw the featurette about the what was it? It was the dudes using like robotics, like the first one.
Yeah, the animatronics and everything.
The animatronics.
And I love it too. I was watching this the other day. The scene from the trailer where they have the big T-Rex in the back of the truck and everything.
Yeah,
that's an actual animatronic. It's not CG.
Well, there's the CG.
Well, there is a CG part, and I'm sure they're going to enhance certain parts of the animatronics with CG.
Yeah.
But man, it's just so much better when you can actually see it there, and it's so much more believable.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're keeping this alive because I do think that animatronics are due for a comeback. I think that Star Wars: The Force Awakens, when that came out, sort of like reinvigorated people's love for this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's time that it came back in full force with how technology has advanced. I think we're going to see a lot more of it. And to see it come back in Jurassic Park is great because the first film used a great mixture of both of those. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I have to see Jurassic World. It's not going to be like
I'm excited about Jurassic World, but I'm not excited about the Han Solo movie. I just don't care about.
I'm actually more excited for Jurassic World than Han Solo.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. That doesn't surprise me at all because it looks good.
It's funny too because they're both so derivative. Like they're not really needed at all. Like the Han Solo story one, I mean, there's new stuff in there, but it's like. It's not going to have, like, nothing bad's going to happen to Han or Chewie or anything.
Yeah.
Same thing for this Jurassic World movie. It's just, more dinosaurs on the loose. And even the scene that we're looking at with this animatronic raptor that's on a table that's all tied up.
Yeah.
Boy, is that incredibly reminiscent of The Lost World with the baby T-Rex.
Oh, that's a good point.
Not to mention this whole scene, this movie, in a way, is kind of like, let's take the dinosaurs off the island and bring them to the mainland.
It is like they're just remaking the first two movies.
In a way, yeah.
But
just
better.
Thinly veiled with reboot. Yeah.
Well, no, the first one's amazing.
The first one is
the
still...
second one, go ahead, remake that.
Yeah. I mean... The first Jurassic Park to me is a freaking classic. There's just no getting around that. The second one is fun, but even as a kid, I was like, it's nowhere near as good as that. And the third we don't even talk about. Jurassic World is fun, but it's a sort of a soft reboot. And this one, like you said, is taking elements from 2 and redoing it again. But man, look at those animatronics. I love that stuff.
Yeah, the nose pulsing and like the...
Just the inside of the mouth, all the little details and stuff. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks
the Indoraptor looks pretty cool, too.
It does look cool. I am excited to see T-Rex eat it at the end.
They're also going to be... did you ever go to Universal Studios and like see the Jurassic Park stuff?
Oh, yeah. I remember standing... It's funny you bring that up. I remember standing in front of the gate of that attraction and just standing there and letting the music like hit me and just sort of like take it in because they had the big like gate, in the beginning of the first one, how they drove in and the music was playing. I don't even remember what was in that. I just remember staring at that gate being like, this is the coolest place I've ever been,
Do you remember how old you were when that happened?
I was pretty young. I think I was like 10 or 13 or something. So
this is in the 90s then.
Yeah.
When you went there. I didn't go there until 2001.
Okay.
And it was literally 2 months before Jurassic Park 3 came out.
Uh-huh.
So the whole like Jurassic Park section was like everything was decked out with Jurassic Park 3 stuff.
Oh, okay.
Spinosaurus and all that crap and everything. The hype was truly real. But yeah, when you actually get to go into that place and you see like the giant Jurassic Park entranceway and you go through it and you hear that booming John Williams score, it really is cool. But what's really great is in the next year they're completely updating the entire portion of that park and turning it into a Jurassic World area now. And they're also completely redoing the Jurassic Park ride. Because let's face it, it's kind of archaic by today's standards.
Oh yeah.
If you guys actually haven't ever been on that ride, just look up the YouTube video where you get like a whole 4K tour of the entire ride of someone filming it like in a POV. And it doesn't exactly hold up because the animatronics are so old. You got to realize, though, that ride was created in the early 90s. In fact, little fun fact here, the Jurassic Park theme park ride was created before the movie even released. They were working on that like theme park years before the movie had even completed.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Disney is like the king of merchandising and shit. So if they know something's going to be big, they'll like invest in getting all the toys ready and everything.
Well, the thing
else.
is, this was actually Universal.
Oh, that was Universal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not Disney.
It's just they realized like in the when Michael Crichton wrote this book, and they're like, man, this is going to be a big thing. This is going to be a huge movie. They're like, let's double down on this. Let's create the Universal theme park ride. And I remember watching a documentary in the like mid 90s, and they were showing like how they built it and all and everything. And like to put it in perspective, Jurassic Park came out in '93. They were working on this in like 1989.
Wow.
Like for years to get this thing up and running. And now they're finally getting ready to update it again. And I think it's about time because Universal Studios is about to just go nuts with a lot of their new content, whether it be the Jurassic World stuff or the new Nintendo part of the park that they're creating.
Yeah.
Basically, in 2019, I got to get my ass to Universal Studios.
And we got to go see Disneyland too, just to see Harry Potter World and all that other stuff.
I'm not sure. Is Harry? No, Harry Potter. I still think is a part of Islands of Adventure. Which I think is Universal.
What's in Florida then?
There's Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Which is originally used to be like the concept was it was a movie studio / theme park.
Yeah.
Which was really awesome. I went there in the mid 90s as well, and I'm glad I did because I got to ride King Kong before it got tore down.
Oh, they tore down King Kong?
Yeah.
And Jaws is gone?
And Jaws is gone.
I've rode both those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they redid King Kong and turned it into something else, but before it was just like a big ride.
You know, there's a Simpsons ride in California.
Yeah. I think that's at Islands of Adventure, which let me look. I think that's what they still call it. But I believe that's where the Harry Potter stuff is.
So it's not in Florida.
Islands of Adventure, yeah. They're Orlando.
So it is in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's in fact that first thing you see there, that's the Hulk coaster right there.
I've rode the Hulk coaster.
Dude, I love that. See that that where they shoot you up through the tunnel?
Yeah. That's where you transform into the Hulk. It goes, raw.
I love that ride. We rode that one like 5 times in a row when we got to that one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Honestly, Islands of Adventure has some of the coolest roller coasters that I've ever been on. There was there's a fantasy part of the theme park that I'm not sure if it's there anymore. That might be the new Harry Potter area. They had the Dueling Dragons coaster.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Did you ever ride that one?
Yeah.
It was the blue and red dragon, and you got there were 2 people, or there was 2 groups on either side of one another. But yeah, this is the one that has the Jurassic Park and the Harry Potter stuff, as well as just
go see what the rides are. Can you see the rides?
See.
If you see what things to do
things
at the
to do,
Rides.
rides and attractions. Okay, so we have Harry Potter. Oh man.
Oh, what's that?
By the way, Islands of Adventure, your website sucks.
It's not well organized.
It is not well organized at all. So there's the areas.
It's okay. It's just
there's
Disney.
the ride types. I think this is the one that has what is it? Oh yeah. So they don't have the King Kong ride at the Universal Studios anymore, but they do have the Skull Island Reign of Kong, which is actually a new ride.
Probably better. Probably better.
They have the 3D rides like the Transformers, the Spider-Man, the Shrek, which I think is also how they do the Simpsons one.
Yeah, it's like, well, you remember, did you ever do the Back to the Future ride?
Oh, dude, I totally did the Back to the Future ride.
That doesn't exist anymore, but that was epic.
That was, man, first time I rode that was in 95. That's when we went to go to Universal Studios. And it was so fun and unlike anything I'd ever seen.
I wonder if there's
before.
videos of that ride anymore.
Oh, there are, dude.
Oh, okay.
I went through a whole spiel like 2 summers ago where like I watched like all because people filmed these things.
Yeah, back in the day.
And,
but that's like before GoPros and shit were around. You know, it's like way back in the day.
And it was really the only way to experience some of these rides now. Like you're not going to be able to ride Jaws anymore, or King Kong.
Jaws sucked though. I'm not.
You didn't like Jaws?
No.
Oh, I loved riding.
I love how like the person had a grenade launcher and they had to shoot at Jaws, but they would like get the timing wrong and it, like the explosion would go off and they'd be like, "Oh no, boom." There was just like some shit to it that wasn't very. It was clunky. It was a clunky one. So was King Kong, to be honest.
Oh, King Kong was archaic though.
It was
like
clunky.
it'd been around since the 80s.
Yeah.
And but you know, I was a young impressionable kid at the time. I was only about 8, 9 years old.
What rides are at the Florida Disneyland?
Let's see.
Is it Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World
is the Florida one.
Yeah, is the one in Orlando, which I've never been to Disneyland in California. I always assumed Disney World was like.
I heard Disneyland's amazing, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Let's see, what are the rides?
Parks tickets. You know what? Screw these really busy websites. Let's just type in the rides.
Yeah, there we go.
See if we can't get some. All right, so Splash Mountain.
Of course, classic.
Which is, the big log ride where, which is funny because it's based on a Disney movie, which is considered the most controversial of all time, Song of the South.
I've never seen it.
Are you familiar with Song of the South?
Is that the one with the boobies?
That's no, it's the zippity doo dah zippity yay. It's the movie about like the old Uncle Remus, the slave.
No, I don't know what.
And he tells children to the good little white children.
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Nobody does
because
Disney has completely whitewashed all of it from existence. But it's a ride that's based on that. There was some of these are from Epcot Center though. Did you ever go to Epcot?
Yeah, it's the big bowl.
The big ball.
Big ball.
That's all
thing.
anybody ever remembers. But
okay,
they had the Twilight Zone's Tower of Terror, which is just basically a big free fall drop.
Done that.
Mm-hmm. That one was really fun, especially if you like Twilight Zone. It's like being in an episode. There's the Big Thunder Mountain, which is the sort of the railroad kind of style roller coaster.
Every place has one of those. Even Six Flags has one of those.
Space Mountain was always one of my personal favorites, which is the indoor coaster, which is all like neon and black. Let me see. There's a lot of stuff
going
here.
over. I there feel like some big rides we're missing here.
Let me see here. I never rode the Barnstorm. What the hell is this stuff? Star Tours, which was the Star Wars ride at Epcot Center, which has also been completely redone, thanks, of course, to all the new Star Wars films. There's also the big Star Wars thing that's going to be coming to the Disney parks as well, both in California and in Florida, which I'm pretty pumped for. Let me see. The teacups. Did you ever ride the teacups? Or the Dumbo ride?
No.
We waited 3 hours for the Dumbo ride. Not worth it.
Not
at
worth it.
all. 3 hours for a 3-minute ride.
Holy shit.
Yep. My experience with Disney World was not that great. We went to a lot of different parks in the week that we went there. Disney World, Universal Studios. My favorite one was Universal Studios.
Okay.
But it was just, I think I've told this story before. It was the time when my mother had bought tickets to Universal Studios and they ended up being fake.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, so, all right, well, I get to tell this story now because it's awesome. So, 1995, whole family going to Orlando for the whole week for spring break. It was awesome, and it was a surprise, too. We didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Came home from school. Me and my brother are there, and then my mom and dad come in. They're like, guys, we know spring break is coming up, and we said that we were going to be doing chores all week. Well, we lied. We were going to Orlando. We were going to all of the theme parks. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really fun. And we got really excited. We got there. And the very first day, we go to Orlando. We're there like an hour before they open. We are pumped up. We go to the gate. We give them the tickets, and the tickets are fake as shit. They were sold to us from a scalper, and they could just see how crushed we were.
And it wasn't your fault. Yeah.
And it wasn't our fault, and we were just so disappointed. But luckily, there was a manager there who was there at the moment, and he decided, he's like, hey, you guys just come with me to the office, and we'll get this straightened out. And me... my brother are just sitting outside of this office, which is like to the side of the entire park. My mom and dad are in this office talking to this guy, and they come out, and they felt so bad for what happened because we were so happy to do all this, and we came from so far away that they gave us day passes, but they weren't just like regular tickets to get into the park.
Yeah.
They were... basically for people who have handicaps that can skip to the front of the lines.
The turbo line passes.
So not only did we get passes for the park, but we got to skip every single line at Universal.
Whoa.
Every single ride we got to immediately. So we got to not only ride every single ride about 2 to 3 times, but we also got to see every single thing in the park that day.
Wow. Very efficient.
We might have also met Bruce Willis's stunt actor.
Really?
Yeah, there was this one moment where it was about midday, and we were waiting to see the Beetlejuice show, and it was about to start in like 15 minutes, and me and my mom were getting some ice cream, and all of a sudden this dude just comes over in a white tank top, covered in blood, looks really beat up, and it looks just like Bruce Willis, and he starts talking to us, and he's like, yeah, we're actually working on the new Die Hard movie in the lot a couple places over. And like, you're working on the new Die Hard? This is when they were making Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Uh-huh.
And
what happens in that one?
I barely remember.
Yeah.
I mostly only really like the first Die Hard.
Wait, is that the one with Sam Jackson in the park in New York?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But
I can get behind that one.
But it was really cool because we literally got to meet Bruce Willis's, like, and we thought it was Bruce Willis, and we were like, holy crap, is that really him? And it was really surprising, and he got to tell us they were working on the movie, and you could actually see the pyrotechnics on the other side, like you could see the explosions and stuff. That's what was really cool about Universal. It was a theme park, but they legitimately made movies and TV shows.
I don't think they do that now.
They don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It was a rare thing. They also used it as a place to restore and keep all types of really big like movie sets and props and everything.
Memorabilia.
Like we saw the Psycho House, which was up on a hill. They just kept it on this like hill where they actually filmed it there in that lot. It was really, really cool. It was an interesting park at that time. It is definitely de-evolved into more of a
theme park
thing, but
yeah.
It was also cool because that was also the heyday of Nickelodeon. So we got to go to Nickelodeon Studios, which is attached.
I did that too.
Yeah.
That shit is different.
That was so different. But it was attached to the, we got to see the big slime geyser. We got to go through a whole tour of the animation studios. We got to go through like this big little game show thing, which was really fun. As a kid who grew up in the 90s and loved Nickelodeon, that was just awesome. Really, that might have been one of my favorite like vacations as a child. Universal Studios was awesome. The next day is when we went to Disney World. We did not have the free passes, and we had to wait in every fucking line, and that's why it sucked.
You need to pay extra for those passes.
Exactly. We had legitimate Disney World passes.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, some guy sold us some fake ones for Orlando. But, man, that was always a really fun trip. But with all the new stuff that they're adding, definitely got to go back to the park.
Yeah, it's different because, like, nowadays you can pre-order all your tickets online. It's totally different. But back in the day, you needed some fucking paper tickets. Like, you had to walk up with some shit in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you bought something from someone, you didn't know if they were real or not, but you needed tickets. It's kind of interesting.
And I mean, it was a little suspicious. I mean, that my mom and dad said they did buy the tickets from a guy in a parking lot when they were in Florida. Because we originally were just going to go to the Disney parks. We weren't originally going to go to Universal, but they just got such a great deal on these. They just couldn't say no.
Well,
and
know why.
And they knew how much like we loved like Jurassic Park and Jaws and stuff, and like we got to go there.
We gotta.
So yeah, it was really awesome though.
It was probably pretty fun, man. Like I love those parks. They're a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But it's time to grow up. Can't go back anymore.
Are you kidding me? Screw that. I'm going back to Universal once Universal and Disney, once all of the Star Wars and Nintendo and all that stuff is done, I have to check that stuff out.
We're going back.
Exactly. Especially when it's fresh, strike while the iron is hot. Yeah, so guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show now, but thank you guys for listening. We, again, would love to get your thoughts about the brand new Dragon Ball Heroes anime series / OVA / movie. We don't know what it is. Tell us what characters you want to see in this big, badass Dragon Ball mashup. And since, guys, we're talking about Deadpool, tell us your thoughts about the upcoming film, what you hope to see. Tell us what your thoughts are about that little Hitler post-credits scene. And if you guys have any awesome memories about going to theme parks or Disneyland or any of that stuff, tell us in the comment section below, and we'll definitely talk about it a little bit more in the future. We do have some episodes which are going to be planned for the Deadpool movie, kind of like what we did for Infinity War. Maybe we'll do one for Solo as well. Christian has said you don't particularly want to see that, but I'm a Star Wars fan at heart, so I got to talk about it a little bit anyway. We might bring Jordan back for that one as well. That way we can sort of get another mindset on that one. But again, if you guys have any topic ideas or questions for us, make sure to let us know in the comments section, and we will try to get to them in the next show. There was one question we did not get to in this episode, but I promise we will get to it. It's basically about our love of anime, but we'll definitely get to that in the next episode. But there it is. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.